Depression to Hope, a senior story. This is not just a story. This is a journey. From deep sadness to light, from loneliness to love, from depression to hope. Today, I want to tell you the real story of Mr. Raymond, a 72-year-old man who found his smile again after losing everything that gave him joy. Let's begin. Mr. Raymond was once a happy man. He had a good job, a loving wife, and 2 sons. He lived in a quiet neighborhood, enjoyed gardening, and loved listening to old songs. He was the kind of man who helped others, laughed often, and believed life was beautiful. But life can change. First, his wife passed away after a long illness. Then his sons moved to different cities for work. At first, they used to call every week, then once a month. And then slowly the calls stopped. His house became silent, too silent. He would sit in his chair, staring out of the window for hours. His plants began to dry. He stopped shaving. He stopped caring. He once said to himself, "Why should I get up? No one is waiting for me. No one needs me." He stopped talking to his neighbors, stopped going to the park. Even on sunny days, he kept the curtains closed. Raymond was slipping into depression. And the worst part? No one saw it. People thought, he's just old. He wants to rest. But deep inside, he was in pain. A silent pain that grew heavier each day. One evening, Raymond fell in his bathroom. He was on the floor for almost 2 hours. He had no strength to get up. His phone was far from reach. When his neighbor finally heard a soft cry and knocked on the door, Raymond whispered, "Please, help me." He was taken to the hospital. He had a small fracture and had to rest for weeks. But that fall saved his life. At the hospital, a kind nurse named Nina sat with him every day. She noticed he wasn't just healing physically, he was hurting emotionally. One afternoon she asked, "Raymond, are you happy?" He stayed silent. Then tears rolled down his cheeks. That moment was the beginning of change. Nina told him gently, "Sadness is not weakness. Depression is real, and you're not alone." She introduced him to a counselor who visited elderly patients. Raymond spoke slowly at first, but then the words came out. His loneliness, his pain, his feeling of being forgotten. The counselor listened. No judgment, just kindness. When Raymond went back home, he didn't go back to the dark. This time, something was different. The counselor had connected him to a senior support group in the neighborhood. They met once a week in the community center. They shared stories, laughed, even cried together. Raymond was surprised. He wasn't the only one feeling this way. There were others, widows, grandfathers, retirees, all searching for connection, for meaning. He started walking again. He took care of his plants again. He even adopted a small dog named Charlie, who followed him everywhere. His sons noticed the change. They began calling more often. One even visited him with his children. For the first time in years, Raymond felt like a grandfather again. So what changed? Not the past, not his age, not the loss. What changed was hope. Raymond didn't give up, and someone cared enough to ask, "Are you okay?" Sometimes that's all it takes. If you're watching this and you feel lonely, sad, or forgotten, please know this. You are not alone. Your story is not over. You still matter. Talk to someone, join a group, share your story. Even one small step can lead you toward the light. Because just like Raymond, you too can walk from depression to hope. This story is for every senior who feels unheard. Your voice matters, your pain is real, and your healing is possible. Let this be a reminder that hope can grow, even from the darkest soil. You are strong, you are seen, and you are deeply valued.